Uh, Nice to see you. I'm going to angle this down a little bit. Very nice to see you. I'm just going to pop up the chat. You'll have to excuse me, I'm getting over a cold, so I have a slightly deeper voice than I normally do, and I may occasionally cough. That's fine, isn't it? Now, I hope everyone's well today. I'm just going to put the chat in a pop-up, and what I'm going to do this time, because I am not good at this, is I will flip back and forth to very new chats and old chats as well, and I'll just keep going up and down. I don't know if that's how people do it. I really don't know, but all I know is that I can't do this particularly well. So let's see how we get on with that. Oh, David Thompson, two New Zealand dollars. Thank you very much, and an emoji too. I didn't know you could do that. All these things I'm finding out. So let's go. Here we go. Flipping heck. Why did Sue McGee say flipping heck? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Nice widescreen telly. It's just a basic, it's just very sort of, it's not really that intrusive, is it? It's just sort of dominating the screen, isn't it? Stephen the Waxing Lyricist. Hi, are there any Radio 4 panel shows you would like to be on? If I'm going to be honest, no. Because I don't regard myself as a panel show type. I think there's a certain type of comedian that has the gift of just being able to talk, find punchlines in midair and have that kind of spontaneity, whereas I'm far too self-conscious, and I feel like I'd clamour, I'd feel like I'd want to retract into a shell. So that's the reason why, no, I wouldn't do it. And also, I don't really listen to them, so I don't really know. I wouldn't be up to speed as to what the dynamic was or anything like that. Horizontal and mirrored. Yes, I know, Natalia. You know, I'm mirrored because I can't work out how to flip it round and see a screen with me on it, because the last time I did that, if you remember, I disconnected and I was waffling and nobody could see me, and they were going, hello, where are you? And I had to turn it around and go, and it said disconnected, and you know. So anyway, I can see what I'm doing, but I'm mirrored, and I don't like the fact that you can see my mirrored face, or the fact that if I hold up anything, it's back to front. Yeah, I don't like that. Anyway, hi Michael, I'm visiting Herne Bay on Sunday. Is there anything worth doing? I've never been to Herne Bay, but I would imagine walking along it, if the weather's nice, and looking at shells is absolutely a top hole thing to do. And what I would actually say, forgive me, but I'm just getting over my cold, so I'm very stuttery and spluttery. But I would say is try to find a nice independent coffee shop on the seafront, because that's always a nice thing to do. Have you ever been on Have I Got News For You, and would you? I've answered that. I answered that last time, Anya. I've never been on it, and I wouldn't be on it because of pretty much the reasons I mentioned before. And also, although I was a big fan of Have I Got News For You in the 90s, I don't really entertain it in the 2000s. I think it's a very tired format. What can I tell you? I also ripped the piss out of it in my Radio 4 show, so give that a listen. Okay, will you ever go on tour? Yes, I'm going on tour next year in 2026. Please buy a ticket if I'm coming to a town near you. And if I'm not, make a day of it, travel to that venue, stay overnight, have some fun, and incorporate my show into your experience. Okay. I went to see a recording of Pappy's on Monday. They were very good at that. Oh, were they? Yes, but yes, I've not. A recording of what? On did they do a podcast? Is that what they did? Yeah, see, they've got the gift of that kind of performance, and I don't feel I'm quite there yet. Um, Ignore the previous question. I've answered it. Yes, I know. Um, Hello there. I hope you had a good day. Yeah, not too bad, thank you. If you could place a chair anywhere in the world, where would you put it? What a strange question, Paleo edits. Is it a philosophical one? I have no desire to put chairs anywhere except where I'm about to sit. So that's your answer. When will you be putting up your Christmas decorations? Never, Richard. I don't put up Christmas decorations. I have a tree, and that's it. You're amazing. Please come to Italy. Oh, thank you. Ex fol so quod libet, if that's your name. I got married in Italy, if that's anything. Are your kids funny in school? No, I think that. I mean, I wasn't really. I was a bit of a clown in school when I was in primary school. When I went to senior school, and I've said this before somewhere, probably in a podcast. I do a lot of podcasts. Is that when I got to senior school, senior school properly kind of stripped me of my personality. It turned me into like a cellmate, and I realised that I couldn't do anything. I couldn't project myself. I couldn't be myself because the teachers were so bad. The school was bad, and I just sat in the back and I wasn't a particularly good pupil either. So I feel like there's elements of that with my children in terms of they're expressing themselves early on, but they might struggle when they get to senior school, which I definitely did. But anyway, have you ever thought about any more room next doors about past political events? The Winston Churchill one was great. I'm glad you enjoyed the Winston Churchill one. I did do a lot of research or archive research into famous interviews, thinking, well, I could put room next doors anywhere, but it didn't really work. It seems like bad political interviews are very much a recent thing in terms of historical gaffes. There aren't that many. Like I tried to find some with Margaret Thatcher, and she's just so unbelievably robotic. And she also did this very patronising thing with journalists, which is to kind of have that glint in her eye, which was to say, look, I'm not playing your game. I'm not going to say what you want me to say. I'm not going to play your game. The facts are these, blah, blah, blah. And she wouldn't even break sweat. And then, of course, you've got bumbling fools like Matt Hancock, which made my life so much easier. Okay. Any future plans for stuff with Diane Morgan? Not yet, but we're always in touch and looking to do bits and pieces together. Obviously, I'm always there for Mandy. If there's a season 5, I would very much like to think I'm a part of that at some point. When is your next walk, Sue? Yes, I did a walk this morning, but I haven't edited it yet. But I did have a nice ramble about where I used to work, and I talk about the .com bubble bursting and stuff like that, because I think there's a real parallel between the .com bubble bursting, and the AI bubble about to burst, which I find really interesting. I used to live in Whitstable. Cup of thoughts. I used to live in Whitstable, not far from Herne Bay. Yes, to the independent coffee shops. Absolutely. Brit Plays 76. Please come. Fantastic. Please come to Sheffield. Am I in Sheffield? I must admit, I don't remember all of my tour dates. I feel like I am coming to Sheffield. Have a look on the website. Right, I'm going to just slip all the way down here. How can you tell the AI bubble is bursting? Just from much smarter people than me, who have written articles and have accounts on social media, who experts who are saying that there's no return on the investment, and they're investing billions and they're not getting billions back. There's a thing about the owner of ChatGPT thinking that by now we'd all be so hooked on it we would all sign up to a subscription service, but that hasn't happened yet. And I think the idea, the projection, was that it would have happened by now. Anyway, I rewatched He's Alive the other day, Twilight Zone, and imagined a reveal where the shadow guy was the guy in the room next door. I don't mean that as an insult. Well, here's an interesting thing. I've got, I don't remember He's Alive. I might have watched it, but I do have the whole of the Twilight Zone on this most incredible DVD box set. I rescued lots and lots of DVDs from my garage and set up my DVD player recently. I'm embracing analog again, which is really nice. I really recommend it. It feels like you're in control again when you've got physical media in your hand. Anyway, I love you. You're absolutely hilarious. Thanks, Random Clone 66. My politicians are masters. I'm sorry about constantly spluttering over my words. I think it might have been COVID, actually. I'm not sure. I love you. Oh no, you've already said that. See, my head. Your politicians are masters in not answering questions, I'll say. But every now and again, a journalist who is good, i.e. not Chris Mason. Just joking, I'm just joking. A journalist who is good will kind of nudge them out of their comfort zone and they'll struggle, and that's always good to see. You mentioned last week, have you any thoughts about getting a moderator so they can point you towards specific questions? I will talk about that a little bit more when I go on my walks and stuff like that, because if this becomes a thing, then I will. If it doesn't, no, obviously there's no point. Because this is still, will this continue to be a regular thing or not? Or will I just knock it on the head? Which I might do, I don't know. I've got a room next door that I want to film this weekend as well. So I'm thinking, well, I don't want to lose my old audience and all that sort of thing. Okay. Yes, I know about the coming to Italy with the tour. Yes, I'd love to. Yes, I'd love to. I'd love to go all over the world with the tour, but that's just a pipe dream. Let's see what happens with this UK tour, and then we'll take it from there. But of course, I'd absolutely love to. I'd love to be anywhere except the UK in December. God, it's so depressing, isn't it? It's so depressing. It's like picking up my child from school and then boom, it's black, and it's oh God. Oh, I just hate that feeling. It's all right when you get a sunset, but when it's grey all day, it's just, you know, well, you know what it's like. Okay. Yes, so Pappies do podcasts in front of live audience. Yes. That's something I haven't done yet, is the podcast. But maybe in the future. Love your work. Thank you, JChip 52828 578 828. Do you find telly daunting compared to filming stuff at your home? I thought you asked that before. Someone asked that before. Doing telly stuff, yeah, it's much more daunting. It's much more daunting. I did like Disclaimer with Kate Blanchett on one side, Alfonso Cuarón on the other. It's like, oh my God, is this a fever dream? Whereas doing stuff like that here, faffing about, yeah, it's fine. I don't break a sweat. Give us a silly joke. I don't tell jokes, Jim Music, sorry. Is there someone in the room that you're feeding me with the answers, DMO 224? Yes. How can we distinguish between the real you and the video you? I don't know. Jonathan Littlemore. I really don't know. That's something that you really have to take on yourself as a task, and then come back to me with the with your results, with your findings. How do you manage performance anxiety, or do you get on well with what you make? I don't really, I don't have performance anxiety. Anything I write, sketch-wise, if it makes me laugh, then I will do it. And I have that. If it makes me laugh, then I will. Then I have that impetus and enthusiasm and desire to film it, get it done, edit, and post it. And the same with the live shows. If I feel absolutely 100% confident in the material, then I'm not really that nervous about whether it will fail or not. Perhaps that's not the right way to go about it, but there we go. Seems to work well for me at the moment. Have you always wanted to do comedy? Yes, My Chemical Romance, I have. Pretty much since I was a very, very, very young boy. Just comedy was always in the house, not in terms of everybody being funny in my house, but in terms of everybody having comedy heroes. Like my dad was a big fan of Tony Hancock and the Goons, and I used to listen to him listening to the Goons, and I used to watch him watch Hancock and momentarily just sort of absolutely lost in that world, laughing uproariously. Very early memories of that, and so it just kind of came naturally to want to do the same. Not necessarily just make my dad laugh, but make the world laugh. Oh, how profound. Right. The new BBC Audio app is ridiculous. You can only listen to the Friday Night Comedy a week after it's been broadcast. Considering Friday Night Comedy is normally topical, this is not ideal. Well, Anya ROC, I wish I had something to do with it, but I don't. I find the BBC sounds actually really good, but yes, I suppose topical comedy is always a problem, isn't it? Have you seen the US? Have I got news for you? No. It has Amber Ruffin on it, and she is an absolute delight. Oh, I'll have to check it out. Perhaps it's a lot more fresh and interesting than the UK one, which has been going for nearly 150 years now. Do you still eat 3 cream eggs a day? Well, T. Dean Media. No, I do not. I never did. It was a wild exaggeration, but I do really like cream eggs. I can't believe I've actually caught up. This is incredible. Oh, hang on, no, maybe I haven't. No, I'll go back to the. Do I have a favourite comedy film? Simon Watchorn. No, I don't have a favourite comedy film, but I do love anything by Laurel and Hardy, because I've watched their films over and over again, and I could quote entire screenplays. What is the most amount of different characters you have played in one sketch? Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I think the problem is that I do play characters who are kind of similar to one another. Like there's a like my Tim sketches usually have about 12 Tims in them. If you listen to No Room, Radio 4's No Room show, which I did, I do these characters called Tim, and I set up a microphone in this room, and I record 12 Tims all talking to each other at the same time, and then edit it, and they're all sort of overlapping each other. And that is difficult to do, but very, very rewarding. So I guess 12 characters. And I think I've done about 12 characters in Mandy overall as well. And I've really enjoyed playing different characters in Mandy. It's been great. Okay. What hobby brings joy to your life? I don't have a hobby. I just write. That's all I do. I just write and write and write. And that's what brings me joy. Are you related to a Rebecca Spicer? If so, tell her she cannot do her job properly. Dog mattress. No, I'm not related to a Rebecca Spicer. And whether she can or cannot do her job properly, it's really not my place to tell her. Michael Spicer, may I say you are a borderline a comedy genius. Thank you, Phil Pope. That's incredibly nice. Hi, Michael. I love your videos. Are you going to audition for SNL London? No, that's all been. Oh well, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think they might have got their cast. I did submit some writers. Sorry, my head again. I did submit some sketches for the writing team. Sorry, but they didn't want those, so I had a go. Okay. I made my sister a wooden bird automaton last year for Christmas, and it was ace. What should I make her this year? Well, do my tar 5395. I would suggest another wooden bird automaton, seeing as it went down so well. Did it really hurt when you punched the pumpkin, Michael? Did it hurt when I punched the pumpkin? No, because it was quite soft by then. That's the Matt Hancock Halloween Room Next Door special. What is the most amount of different characters? Oh no, you've done that one, right? Okay. What do you think about the UK version of SNL? Will it succeed? I don't know, but let's just say I don't think it will go to. I don't think it will reach 50 seasons like the US counterpart. That's just a hunch. Okay. A parody of The Archers. Did I do a parody of The Archers? I don't remember doing a parody of The Archers, Street Walker photo, but there we go. How long does it take for you to make a video? Random clone 66. It all depends on the video, but a lot of the time, if I think of a good idea, or I think of an idea that might work or is topical, then I'll have to do it straight away. So I write it in the morning, film it in the afternoon, and then try and get it done, edited in the evening. Otherwise, it's just it could just lose its impact if you don't get it done quickly in time. So yeah, I try not to dwell too much on just the losing myself in a massive production. It's much easier to do quick sketches and knock them out. Hi, Michael B. Jordan. What is it? Why did you call me that? What would be your dream project? Movie, TV? Are you the director, writer, actor? What genre, themes, etc.? Oh, that's a good question. I've written several screenplays which I'm trying to get away, as well as TV shows actually. And they're all kind of different genres, but they all have a kind of comedic element. So I've just recently written a sci-fi film, and I've written a film that I really want Leslie Manville to be in, which is a drama comedy, but it's I think every time I write a screenplay, I am kind of influenced a lot by the Coen brothers. I think their balance of comedy and drama and thriller is really, really good, and I'm trying to do a sort of British version of that, really. But it all depends on what I've written. So this thing for Leslie Manville doesn't have a role for me in it at all. So I'd quite happily write and direct it. Whereas there are other projects where I would love to try my hand at acting in one of the roles. So it all depends on the project, really. But I love acting, writing, and directing, and I would love to try and do that in the future. Go to the Yukon in December. Dog sledding is fun. I'll have to take your word for it. See Keith R. Ewan. Have you ever rested on either of the two random chairs in that field? No, because they're always wet. I started watching Disclaimer without realizing you were in it. What a pleasant surprise. Are there any other roles like this that you might be interested in doing? Um, well, yes. I mean, occasionally I'll get I'll do auditions for things that are on Netflix or whatever. These kind of dramas, these big production dramas. But a lot of the time, I don't think they're suitable for me. Like there was one recently where I was asked um, to to be like they basically had all the lines where all the lines I had to read were regarding my weight and the fact that I ate a lot. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't a very good script. It wasn't a good script. It just wasn't a good script. It was terrible. It was terrible. And I was I was I was supposed to be some sort of insecure man who ate a lot whenever he was stressed out. And there were all sorts of little nods to the fact that I was overweight, and it was really unpleasant. And then I just thought, but I'm not overweight. I'm not what you think. Why have you given me this to? It's because it was a silly comedy role in a drama, and they just thought, oh, that guy, he does comedy. Yeah, but I'm not right for the role, am I? It's very odd auditioning for things sometimes if you know it's not suitable for you. But Disclaimer was different because I was chosen to be just that kind of annoying office bod who pokes and prods at the main character to get them to snap, which is what she does. She snaps and hits me. So that was better. That was fine. Although it was still probably the most dramatic role I've ever done. TD Media, what is your personal favourite sketch you've made? My personal favourite sketch I've made. I don't really have any favourite ones, but I do my favourite Room Next Door, which was going to be the one I was going to end it with, but I ended up doing more after. But this was going to be I'm done with this character now, it's over, which is Donald Trump and the other Room Next Door. It was just so perfectly formed in my head. I went for a walk, as you do, and did the sketch in my head, and I was like, yes, great. This is absolutely perfect. It's got a little narrative, it's got everything, and I can also say goodbye to this character. But it turned out the government continued being awful, so I did more Room Next Doors after that, but that's my favourite. Get up to the lakes or the coast. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to do music. I go to school in the dark and get home in the dark. It's depressing AF. It certainly is. There's nothing quite like it. Does it ever bug you that everyone asks you about the Room Next Door all the time? No. No, it never does, because, as I've said before, that's what made sure that I would never have to work for a living. So I can never, ever, ever be fed up with it. Was there an update on the chairs? Yeah, the only update on the chairs, John Hughes, is that one's missing. One's still missing, and I'm really worried about it. Because I'm sure I saw I don't want to worry anyone, but I'm sure I saw a farmer putting a bonfire together with lots of old furniture. I did check to see if the chair was there, that he'd thrown the chair on, but I'm sure I didn't see it. But anyway, that's the update. Hi, Michael, I think I've got the flu. So the only thing for it is to sing to cheer myself up. Any suggestions? Well, Man from Anywhere. I would suggest singing well, I went to a school Christmas carols concert yesterday, and I think the one that really stood out for me was Shakin' Stevens' Merry Christmas. So sing that 4 or 5 times, please. Ireland tour, please. Yes, I'd love to go to Ireland, Anya ROC. Maybe we'll add some extra dates to the tour and I'll go to Ireland. Okay, have you ever visited America? Not to tour, My Chemical Romance, not to tour, but I have been to America. I've only been to New York a few times. That's it. I actually I went to the Hamptons because I had a short film showing at the Hamptons Film Festival in 2008. So I went to the Hamptons and watched my film being screened. And then I got the red eye because I needed to go and fly straight back to work because I didn't have any holiday. I had to go straight back to work. Went to work having missed an entire night's sleep, feeling like shit. And then I went on the internet and looked on the Variety page to see if anybody had watched my film at the film festival. And it said, Michael Spicer wins award. And I was like, oh, did I? And I'd missed the award ceremony. But I won an award for Emerging Comedy Talent, which was sponsored by Caroline's on Broadway. Caroline's of Broadway, this comedy club. And I won a check for $5,000 and a big chunky glass award was sent to me. And then I spoke to the organisers of the film festival and I said, I'm really sorry. If I'd known I was going to win that thing, I would have stayed. I would have skipped the flight and stayed. And the person said, yeah, it is a shame because Alec Baldwin was giving out the award. Oh, never mind. I had to go back to my shitty little job. Anyway, yes, so I'm at the Foundry in Sheffield. Yes. Thank you very much for that, Britplay 76. October the 2nd, 2026 at the Foundry. What if you reckon stay behind the trends for long enough? Yes, exactly, and your ROC. DVDs, physical media is the way forward, ironically. Hafsahuzur 9065. What's the purpose of life? Wish I knew. If you know, if you ever find out, do let me know. Would you do some local walks when you go on tour? Absolutely, I'd love to do that. I'd love to see more of the UK. And I think walking is a really good way of doing it. Okay. Okay. Do you have any pets? Gym music. Yes, I do have a pet. I have a tortoise who's right there. Literally right there. I'm not going to angle it because you won't be able to see anything, but I've got a tortoise table and the tortoise is currently asleep in its bedroom. It's not hibernating because it's too young. She's only 4. But she does do a lot of sleeping. She's not fully hibernating, she's just sleeping. So she comes out, she eats, she goes back to bed. But she is right there. And I look at her sometimes when I'm writing. And she looks at me. And we have a little connection, it's nice. Thanks for the MASH report answers. Oh yes, I answered about the MASH report in the previous thing, which I did. Sorry about that horrible nasal thing that I just did. Any other thoughts on the show cast? As I thought the show was seriously undervalued and the sketches in the show were fantastic. Thank you. I suppose the only thing about the MASH report is that when I first got there, having auditioned and got into the next series, the first series rather, sorry about my fuzzy head, the first series, the green room was full of comedians all doing different pieces. Lots and lots of people. I did feel a bit out of sorts actually because I wasn't on the comedy circuit, so I didn't know all these people, but they kind of all knew each other. And as the weeks went by, that number dropped significantly. And Tom Bell, who I did every series of the MASH report with, who was lovely, said, this is a bit like the Big Brother house, this green room. Every week we come in and there's one less person. And that's what it was like. The producers had worked out that a core group of us could do all the roles, and having different guests every week was just too much for the budget. So by the end, there was just the 3 of us, me, Freya and Tom, and we would do all of the news items. And that felt really special. It felt like we were being relied upon more to bring out a game, so to speak, without, for want of a better phrase. Greetings, Mr. Spicer. Hello, Trefane. I became a fan of yours via the Room Next Door series. Absolute favourite still. How would you describe your own style of comedy? Who knows, really? And people always put me down as a satirist, but to be honest, I just see comedy in everything I see. So I do try some very surreal stuff if you check out my channel, some weirder stuff, which I enjoy just as much as the satire. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's very difficult to put me in any particular pigeonhole, but I would say that obviously it's deadpan is and dry and all of that sort of stuff. It's very difficult. All those sort of labels sort of make me feel a bit uncomfortable, really. But you know where I'm coming from. Okay, well, let's go all the way back to the bottom again. What do you find most difficult about writing? I, for one, lose myself in details at the end, and I have to edit the shit out of it. Thank you, Michael Tudor's Big Adventure. The most thing, yes, I don't lose myself in details because I think it's important to write out entire outlines of things before you throw yourself into the writing. The most difficult bit for me is the trying to make the dialogue not sound so clunky when you're trying to move the plot forward, whilst trying to be funny at the same time, because I've given myself this problem of having to be funny on virtually every other line of dialogue. Anyway, Michael, what do you think of the pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre? I'm dead against it. Are you related to Michael Gove? God, I hope not. Hello, Andreas. Nice to see you in Hereford. You have a pet that you live on, that will live on in your family when your body has turned to dust. How do you not look at that fella and feel an overwhelming sense of existential confusion? I've always had existential confusion. I don't need a tortoise to do that. And it's a girl. Who is the most famous person in your contacts list? Kristin Scott Thomas. Thanks for asking that, Sue. What camera do you use for your sketches and what mic? Curious of Stoke Newington. I use this phone for my my sketches for the most part, and I do have a podcast mic, which I use every now and again. But for the most part, if it's just a quick sketch, I'll just use this microphone. It seems to do the job, so you know who cares really. Nish K was one of the guests on Pappy's. Okay, yeah. Well, that's you know, I mean, well, obviously Nish was part of Mesh Report, and he was extremely kind and nice to me, because obviously it was all. He felt like a pro, even though that was like his first real sort of TV gig. He still had the air of a pro about him. So it was nice to have him as the sort of main face, whilst the rest of us were just mucking about in the background. You always have the nasal thing, but edit them out of your videos. No, John Hughes, I've just got a cold at the moment. I don't have to edit out horrible nasal noises. Okay, where are coconut rings on your top 100 biscuits wall chart? 100, Mike, 100. Okay, how often, if ever, have you been surprised by how successfully a joke has been received and spent too long wondering exactly why it landed so well? DS9. There are times where I put my heart and soul into a sketch and it gets a pitiful amount of of hits, and then alternately I can just do something off the top of my head in the car and it gets like 1 million hits, and things like that you can spend your whole life worrying about, so I try not to. What are your thoughts on the new Nigel Farage racism and bullying allegations, which absolutely no one saw coming? And yet ROC. Well, my thoughts about that is that he's a racist and he's lying, and that usually is the two central themes of any report or piece of news about Nigel Farage or reform. Is your material informed by your personal politics, or do you apolitically pick what is the most topical or funniest? Yes, I just pick what's topical and what's funny. I found some stuff today with an American senator who I'd never seen before, who makes the most incredible gaffe. I won't say what it is because I'm thinking of doing a very quick room next door about it, but the gaffe is absolutely unbelievable. So I'm just going to do that, regardless of whether he was Republican, Democrat, or whatever, although he was a Republican. But yes, I would, because it was such an amazing gaffe, I feel I can do something with it. And politics aside, that's just a man making a fool of himself on national television, and that'll do for me. Hello, Boku Jelly. Did Infantini give you an award? Oh man, I haven't looked at that World Cup draw, you know. I can't physically do it. I was going to try and do something with it, but I can't. Have you had any comeback from any of the politicians featured in the room next door? No, I've never had a comeback. I've just had people quietly follow me on the sly, like Penny Mordaunt and Matt Hancock, and Keir Starmer follows me, which is embarrassing. But I've never had any sort of direct contact with any of these people, I'm pleased to say. We purchased tickets for your show in September. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Elsie. Looking forward to seeing you. I hope you enjoy the show. I know you will enjoy the show. I know you will, because it'll be great. I've no doubt about it. What's the best way to remove red stains from shirts, pants, and just the one glove? Vanish. Every time. Okay. Hancock Archer. Oh, sorry, yes, Hancock. Tony Hancock's Archers episode called The Bowmans. Yes, of course. Yes, very, very good. Very, very good. Yes, I've seen that probably 100 times. It's one of those few episodes of Hancock where he actually ends on a very positive note, where he gets everything he wants. It's so rare. Phil Pope. Michael, do you have good taste in music? I have extraordinarily good taste in music, yeah. I won't go into it now, but my goodness me, it's fantastic. I listen to music all the time at my desk. It's the only way I can write. What is your way of getting inspired for writing when you don't feel yourself for that? It's very rare. If I'm not inspired to write, I just don't do it, because if you force yourself, it won't really come. But a lot of the time, I'm just happy to just sit here and write, to be honest. Did your local theatre try to persuade you to do their panto season? Would you ever? No, I'd never do panto, and it wouldn't matter what it was, how it was, where it was, the money involved. I would never, ever, ever do panto. I can't do it. I know it brings so much joy to so many people, but personally speaking, I don't know. I find it so. I just find it so uncomfortable. What else have we got? What brand of TV is in the background? It's a Samsung. Of course, it's a Samsung. It's always a Samsung. Samsungs. Little tunes coming out of my washing machine, my TV, everything. Okay. Yes, I should buy the chairs. I'll just take them. Generic, I'll just take them. I'd love to see you live. Do you know how long it takes to drive from Detroit to London? I don't, but just put it into Google Maps and it will give you a heads up. Would you perform in Saudi Arabia if they asked? No, I wouldn't. And I think that anyone who did do that, or does do that, or would do that, shouldn't do comedy for a living. Or shouldn't work for a living. They shouldn't do anything. They should just stay out of my way. Loved Coen Brothers ever since Blood Simple came out. Great ending. Yeah, I love them. Michael, did you ever watch Frankie Ball's New World Order? And if so, how did you feel about it being cancelled? I didn't watch it, no. And I didn't know it was cancelled. Um, I think programs like Frankie Boyle's are, for the most part, essential for uh, mainstream television. And it's a shame Frankie Boyle isn't doing anything on television at the moment. Okay. How many times have you shaved and regrown your own beard for comedy? Jeez, hundreds. I'm probably going to shave this off because I might be doing Sky News soon, so I'm going to shave it off. What music do you like? Do you have a favourite song or singer? I don't have a favourite song or singer, but I like pretty much anything, Sue. I like pretty much anything. I'm listening to a lot of neo soul at the moment, and whilst I've been sitting here writing, I've been listening to the entire back catalogue of The Caretaker, which I absolutely adore, but I would imagine that 99% of you probably wouldn't enjoy it. Okay, I think, have we got Evening from the Netherlands? Hello, Adchus. Nice to see you. Part of the comedy that was always in our house growing up was yours. First encountered you back in 2020, and our family's been enjoying everything you create since. Thank you, Anya. That's incredible. I loved your Louis Theroux. Any plans for another? Do you know if he's watched it? I'd love to parody Louis Theroux some more because I think he's ripe for parody, but I have no idea if he's watched it or not. I have no idea. I'm not his biggest fan. Are you related to Michael Heseltine? No, I'm not, despite the big out of control hair this evening. What's the goal, a TV show or a film? Both, Belafonte Video, both. At the same time, and maybe two of each. So anyway, there we go. I think we're almost up to speed. I think I'm going to bring an end to it because it's 8:47. But I'll just have a few more of these and then we'll say goodbye. Thank you so much for being part of this and being part of the community and asking questions. It's incredibly nice of you. If you liked, if you want to maybe ask some things in the comments afterwards, you can do that and I'll read it. You like Douglas Adams? How about Terry Pratchett? Not quite Terry Pratchett as much as Douglas Adams. No, I need to give myself time to properly get into his stuff. I've just seen your early series on awful British Prime Ministers. Would you ever go back to it? There have been some more awful ones. Yes, I know. I don't like that series anymore where I did that. I think production-wise, what I was trying to do was be like a sort of pompous historical documentary thing, but I didn't have the budget for it. It was just me, and I was working at that time, so I used to do everything on my lunch break with a selfie stick, and it doesn't work. I don't like it anymore. Andrew Maxwell took the Saudi shilling. Did he? I didn't know that. How awful of him. Is there a funnier word than plinth? There certainly isn't. The Caretaker, everywhere at the end of time. What a masterpiece that is. LJJ Soot. Everywhere at the end of time, honestly. £26,000, a reasonable price for 12 circus posters, cash only. Yeah, that is a very reasonable price. I retweeted my circus marketing sketch today for no real reason. Did you see a face in the patio door? There's someone there. Are you joking me? Don't even say things like that. Don't even say things like that. Anyway. Can you call me the next time you start one of these? I keep joining these late. Yes, Sandra, I will. How did you come up with the wife video you created with two men talking to each other? The wife video came about, if you look at it, and it just says the wife, because there's a guy who keeps saying the wife would be should be like that, the wife, and that whole sketch was born about because I heard that song that's in that video. And I worked my way backwards and said, how can I incorporate that song in the video? So there we go. Okay, so there was something else there. Hi, Michael, just joined. Do you happen to support a football team by any chance? Yes, I support West Ham because I grew up in Chadwell Heath. I don't, I don't go to, I don't go to any of their matches or anything like that. I don't. I'm completely against the owners and the London Stadium, but I do look in and see how they do. Okay, Am I related to Michael Bolton? If so, can you tell him to get his hair cut? I think he cut his hair about 35 years ago. Streetwalker photo, but never mind, that's fine. I can't answer any more. There's still some there, and I'm really sorry, but if you want me to answer some questions, I'll answer them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and again, hugely appreciative of joining me when you could be doing like literally a billion other things right now. But thank you so much again, and I hope to see you on the next one. Is your house effectively your film studio? Yes, it is. It's not really a warm, inviting house, it's just a studio. Bye. Bye.